Hello butterfly besties, Lady Butterfly here, back with another video. I got my butterfly glam going on. I have to for this video. Okay, so this is my first about me video. And I know it's in my other videos I've, dropped little tidbits about me, but these videos kind of go a little bit in depth about some things about me. Some things are just fun, just little fun things to know about me, and then some of it might be a little deep, like this one. So, as you can see from the title of this, I'm going to talk about the book that I've mentioned one time before that kind of started my my butterfly journey. And I've also mentioned in other videos that I've been in an abusive relationship. So this is kind of what that video is going to be about, and about how it played a part in how I am today. So in 2008, I met someone via MySpace. I know, hold your horses. I understand. MySpace was a long time ago. Anyway, 2008, I met him through MySpace. He messaged me as most guys do. Oh, you're pretty and this, that, da, 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 da. Yeah. And I fell for it, y'all. I fell for it. My self-esteem then was not as strong as it is now. I had to grow into it. Okay, so anyway, so met, talked, da da da. Well, we didn't really meet, but talked, and then ended up in a relationship with this person. And it was not a good relationship, as most guys and most women do. They portray themselves to be this really good, genuine person until they got you, and then the mask comes off, and then you see what kind of monster they truly are. And this person, to me, was truly a monster, parading around as a good Christian man. Those kinds of people are very, to me, not necessarily, well, I guess they're all dangerous in their own way. Anyway, of course, he lied about a lot of things. He cheated a lot, you know. I had women messaging me saying that he was messaging them, asking very sexual things. And the thing about being in that kind of that kind of relationship, abusive relationships, is that you get tired of seeing all of the infidelity that it goes on in the relationship, but that person will not release you from the relationship. See, it's like they want to have you there when they get tired of going out and running around with these other people. So when they get tired doing that, they come home, they still have somebody there. But this guy, he believed himself to be so much greater than he really was. I don't know how he is now. I don't know where he's at now. I don't really care. I'm just being honest. He made himself to be so much greater, and the thing about it is, it's like he used the Bible to perpetrate his crimes or whatever. He would use the Bible. If I didn't do what he wanted, if I didn't do anything to do what I was needed to make him happy, if I denied him sex, then I would get preached at. Now, I know you're sitting there thinking like, well, that don't make any sense. If he read the Bible, then he should know everything he was doing was wrong. Yeah, delusions of grandeur is a real thing, people. It's a real thing. This guy took me through so much, even after, well, yeah, even after he revealed to me that he was homeless while we were together, and I didn't know this, until I found the courage to tell him that I was going to be done with the relationship. And abusive people are very, very manipulative, and they're very narcissistic. And so when they feel like their bullying isn't doing the trick, then they want to try to play on your sympathy, which he did. But I mean, I'm just a big-hearted person, you know. I care about people. Like I said before, I'm a nurturer. I care about people, but I had to learn how to care, but not lose so much of myself in caring for somebody. If I'm caring for somebody and they're not doing what they're supposed to do, I'm not supposed to stay there. Nobody, and listen to me, you're not supposed to stay there if the person that you're caring for, the person that you're helping, is not trying to help themselves and is pulling you down. Cut it loose, get away. You know. I mean, like I said, he lied. He lied to me about a lot of things. He cheated on me. There was an incident where he had been sending pictures of his private area to other females because he and I had a falling out about him getting a job. I know, makes sense, doesn't it? Not really. Anyway, um, the many times he threatened to hurt himself if I was upset with him, if I wanted to leave. Um, it was bad. It was a terrible, terrible situation. You know, I fell in love with this guy. I wanted to marry this man. I wanted to build a life with this guy. And he saw that and he knew that, and he wanted to try to get his hooks in me as deep as he could so that I would build, he would just reap. God was not gonna let that happen though. But I had to grow out of that. I had to grow out of that. And I mean, a lot of the abuse was sexual. It was mental. It was emotional. It was spiritual. Even financial. He but that one time I know it was my fault because I shouldn't have let him hold my debit card, but I didn't have a pocket. I didn't have any pockets or a purse or whatever, and so I would just carry my debit card around in my pocket. But I had gone to donate plasma and one time, and I was kind of feeling bad after, and I'd given him my debit card, told him to put it in his pocket and hold it for me. And he went into GameStop and bought himself a game. True, it was only about $6 or $7, but still, that was my money. But according to him, because I had lost a game that I had previously purchased for him, I owed him a game. So therefore, him using my card was not wrong, and he was basically entitled to it. He would call, like, you know how most banks have, where you can call your account and be able to get like the balance or whatever. They probably don't have that much now, since most everybody does online banking. Um, but before all of that, that's how I used to find out what. I've heard a couple times of him dialing that number and putting everything in. Again, that was my fault because I shouldn't have done that around him. And I can hear him checking like my account. Now it's like I tell people, 95% of their relationship was my fault. 5% of it was his. And I'm gonna tell you why. He was honest. Whether he said it or not, he was honest about the jerk that he was. He was honest about that. Why it was more my fault? Because I was trying to make him be what he just was not capable of being. So I take 95% responsibility because I could have walked away. I could have walked away. I could have done what I needed to do to get him out of my life, but being bullied growing up, being bullied, and then in my family, it seemed like I was always getting in trouble for something. Whether I did it or not, it felt like I always felt like I was treated different. Even if anybody else felt that way, that was the way I felt. I felt like everything I did was wrong if I wasn't doing what people wanted me to do. You know, so I had a real low self esteem about myself, and then plus when I was 9 years old, I was sexually molested by a cousin and sexually pursued by this same cousin, and so I had this warped sense of if a guy wanted to have sex with me, then he must love me, you know. Because when you're growing up, you're taught that, you don't do that unless you're doing that with somebody that you love and care about. So, yeah, that was like my mental. I can't even think of the word. But anyway, so having that happened to me, and I didn't tell anybody about that until I was like 34 years old about the cousin thing. Um, so and then like I said, and then being mistreated by family. So when I met this guy and when he started treating me the way he treated me, it was kind of like it was almost like it was nothing new. I'm used to being mistreated, and part of me growing up, I always believed that if I just show people how good of a person I am, that they would just treat me right. That is not the case. That is not always the case. And it didn't matter how much respect I gave someone or how well I treated someone. If they have intent to be mean to you, to hurt you, then you being the best person in the world is not going to change that person. Uh, I'm not crying. My eye just watered. I told y'all about my tear duct situation. Um, but going back to this guy, like I said, he would preach at me. I can remember one time there was because my family owned at one time a business, so I would go and help out there. Um, and I can remember coming home, and this was like after a situation that happened to where I ended up moving out and moving in with my cousin. So this person would have some place to stay instead of sleeping in my car, where he had been. Um, because my parents do not believe in boyfriend girlfriend under the same roof shacking up. Nope, you're gonna have to be married if that's gonna happen. Um, and I came home and I cooked, and I wanted us to watch a movie together that I had rented. Well, with him not having a job and being on his butt at the house, he had a chance to watch it. So I was like, well, we're here by ourselves. Well, let's have a little romantic evening. I cook. Let's watch the movie together. And he got like all up in the air about he didn't want to watch it because he had already seen it, and he wasn't gonna watch it with me. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I can't remember all what I said to him, but it ended up being that he got mad at me. He pulled out his Bible and he fussed at me from one night into the next morning. 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to sleep, and he is like fussing and preaching at me. I tell people all the time, it's like I was like the guy in the relationship except for that one thing, because I don't have the anatomy for that. But like I was like the dude in the relationship. If we had a house together, I would have been the one supporting. I would have been the one going out working, come home, making, pay the bills and all this here. It was terrible. I mean, the guy, he was so deluded, and I mean, when I think back on everything that I put up with, it's like I want to go back in time and shake myself and be like, girl, wake up. You are too beautiful for this. Your soul is too beautiful for this. I mean, the guy tried to use sex toys on me that he found in an abandoned house, y'all. But I loved him. Because that's the thing about me. When I love, and I think most women are that way. But when I love you, when I tell you I love you, you can best believe I love you and I'm down for you. Anybody else can come up and be like, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" I back up. I'm with somebody. That's how I am. I don't have time to try to maintain a relationship and then deal with somebody else who may got. I don't have time for that. You know, I barely have time to deal with myself sometimes. But I went through all of that, and when I found out that I was pregnant, it got worse.